So here we are at the Great Wall. We've all just arrived in Beijing, where we're going to be skating for the next few days before we head into Central Asia via the Silk Road. So before we head into that unknown and uncharted skate land, we're going to be here in Marble Paradise for a few days and hopefully get some good skating in.
Being in a different country and seeing the spots that you see, like being sore, no such thing. Like you're gonna skate anything that's in front of you because it's the most amazing spot. So Beijing's definitely keeping you on your toes, you know.
We've been in Beijing for 7 days now. We wanted to give ourselves a little buffer because we had no idea what to expect in terms of spots in Central Asia.
Patrik approached me about this trip almost a year and a half ago. His idea was that it's a skateboard trip along what many people take as the old Silk Road, which go through what is now most of the countries ending in Stan since the fall of the Soviet Union, and China. And so the idea would be to start in Beijing and make our way all the way through China and into Kazakhstan, and then from there continue on through the stands.
It's interesting to see a side of China that isn't East Coast, where all these big cities kind of seem the same and nothing really different about them. And interesting to see a Muslim side of China that I didn't really know existed before. Yeah, it didn't seem too good for skateboarding at first, but we found quite a lot of decent stuff.
We just took a bus to a random place or just look out the taxi window and found some good stuff. We ended up in some unique looking neighborhoods, like some back alleys, and found some interesting spots to skate.
Even though we weren't able to get train tickets from Beijing to Urumqi, we were able to get tickets into Kazakhstan.
Going from Urumqi to Almaty, we had a 39-hour train ride. It was endless. I've only been on an hour train ride, so didn't know what to expect. We ended up passing time with just watching TV shows to playing Uno. We had endless amounts of farmland to look at.
Are we in Kazakhstan?
I don't know, I don't think so.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, we're crossing over.
Smells like shit.
Yeah.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. Walker.
Ali Aydar.
Walker.
Bobby.
Walker.
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 Yeah, Walker.
Our train had a good vibe going. The engineer of the train was really friendly. Everyone speaking loudly and aggressively to us in Russian, with us not really understanding anything. But it was fun, you know, we had some drinks. Brian got a haircut.
BK needs a haircut, so I'm gonna give him a new look with a shank. How do you think that looks, Dave?
Great.
Is that good?
You know, when you think of Kazakhstan, you probably think of Borat. That's the most recent media exposure about Kazakhstan.
People have this idea that it's, I don't know, some dirty country where you can sell your sister for $2 or something, but actually it's completely the opposite. There's huge buildings, marble everywhere. The women were so beautiful. It kind of seemed like paradise, actually, a little bit.
For some of us, Kazakhstan is the last stop on our trip. Me, BK, Walker, and Dave are all leaving in the next couple of days.
We ended up trying to do the whole trip, but getting all the visas and taking that into consideration time-wise, it just couldn't happen.
So since the next part of the trip is going to be through the rest of these countries in Central Asia that could be more dangerous, definitely more corrupt, and they're Russian speaking, several Russians have moved in to tag out the Americans.
In Almaty, our crew was full complete. Like everybody was in Almaty. It's Americans, Russians, Europeans, everybody.
We had about 15 or 16 people at the same time.
I could have traveled with this big crew for the whole trip.
We got to the bus station in Almaty and already started feeling a little bit different, not so modern and clean European and nice. You know, we started negotiating with some drivers, trying to get a minivan over into Kyrgyzstan, and that was very kind of like exciting to go towards something that was unknown, I guess.
Kyrgyzstan was a lot less developed. I think the infrastructure of their country is, you know, still trying to get a foothold and figure out who they are and who's where and control of what, because their ethnicities are a lot more divided, as they have Uzbeks and Tajiks in their country as well, and they have different communities, and they're trying to get along and figure out how to organize the government with making everyone happy. taxis in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and it's not easy. I think we worked it out. Everybody here has got gold teeth, so that's where we keep all the money. Our lady's crazy.
Honestly, I don't think we were ready for Uzbekistan. Sure, we did some research before we went there, but like, it's a big mission to go into the place and be out of the place without persecuting the local law.
Uzbekistan is kind of a strange country. It's on one side super developed and on the other side super strange when it comes to money, registration. They seem to not like tourists too much because everything is a pain in the ass.
There's a lot of rules, a lot of silly, unnecessary rules, but before we even got to Tashkent, Kirill got a phone call. He didn't know who it was from.
And I picked it up, and there was a guy on phone, and he started off like that. Hello, my name is Artur. I'm gonna solve all your problems in Uzbekistan. I was like, whoa, okay, cool.
And we were all like, who's this Arthur guy? Like, you don't even know him? And no one knew who he was.
And then it turned out to be the coolest dude, helping us with everything, and seriously, he took care of all our problems. It wasn't a lie at all.
The other thing about Uzbekistan is it was very difficult for us to actually film skateboarding because we had to spend entire days just going through the hoops of just being there.
Too much bureaucracy, everything you need, papers. You need to declare everything that you have to go into the country, and you could have problems with what you're taking in or currency.
Money is really strange because for $100 you get a pack of money, but seriously you feel like the biggest drug dealer.
Right now I can close my wallet, but usually I buy a bag for my money. Like not wallet, bag. It's the first time in my life. You feel really pimp yourself. There's a lot of money, but it's fake. It's a mirage.
One of the cool things about a trip like this is that there isn't necessarily a definite plan. You basically just write down names and locations and just say you're going to go, but it doesn't always work out that way. That's part of an adventure, you know. It's not always planned, and things don't always work out, you know. And sometimes if something doesn't work out, you have a better experience in a way.
The last stop of this trip was supposed to be Turkmenistan. We're supposed to have a guide that organizes everything for us to go there. And then just 2 or 3 days before, we got an email.
They had actually looked at Patrik's website and discovered that we were filming a documentary and decided to ban us from the country, essentially.
Turkmenistan weren't feeling Visual Traveling crew. I don't know, they checked out the website and they decided they didn't want a bunch of dirty skateboarders coming over and filming stuff. So yeah, Turkmenistan was off.
Yeah, so we were a little bit disappointed at first, but luckily we've met this guy in Tashkent, Abu, our homie, super cool dude. And he said, hey, why don't you come to Afghanistan? It's my home country, I have contacts there.
It was the really last minute, and I think that's why everyone decided to do it. They didn't have too much time to think about it or, you know, dwell on, you know, whatever ideas they had in their head about the country before that. It's like, boom, we decided, and no one else knew apart from, you know, who was in the group that we were going. You know, a lot of us didn't even tell our parents, which was probably a good idea.
Basically, Abu helped us out a lot, and with his connections, we were able to get into Afghanistan. You know, he made some phone calls. We showed up at the embassy, got next day visas. The ball was rolling before we even realized what we were kind of getting ourselves into. We have this little crazy tangent adventure, and we started heading towards Afghanistan.
Once we crossed the border, it was a totally different world.
Immediately the scenery changes. You're in the desert, a whole different world within 100 meters or something. We got these 2 Jeeps. Abu told us, yeah, it's my Jeeps, they're here for us. So we got in these fancy cars and start driving, and then we look on the left side and there's this Jeep with this military guys, gnarly looking with a bandana around the neck and the sunglasses and Kalashnikov, and we thought, whoa, look at this mean guys. And then next thing that happens is just the car stops and Abu's like, hey, these are my homies, these are our security guards that are gonna protect us. And I thought, wow, luckily they're here with us because they look pretty badass, these guys.
Kind of interesting seeing all these guys that they've probably been holding Kalashnikov since they were kids, and the things they've seen and done, we can't even imagine. But we actually all got on with them really well, really, really nice guys. They didn't speak any English at all, but it didn't really seem to matter. They're getting me to recite the Quran and teaching me dirty words. I don't know. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with them.
It was pretty incredible. I've never had the police actually on our side when we tried to skate spots. So yeah, we were really lucky that we had that opportunity.
These guys, our bodyguards, were chauffeuring us all over the city, and we'd point to something and then, you know, they'd get out and secure the location and make sure no people were in our way. So it was like royal treatment for skateboarders.
So after skating one of the spots we'd found, and a huge crowd had gathered, we found out later on that day that the governor had heard the news of us being in town from someone and wanted to meet us.
So he had us summoned to his building for tea.
And it was a little scary, to be honest, you know, because this guy had a history, you know, in the wars and everything, and he seemed like a pretty intimidating guy.
We got invited by the highest official in the northern Afghanistan. And Kenny was sitting in the same armchair where German defense minister was sitting not too long ago. You can even see the picture on Wikipedia.
We're doing a demo for the governor. Atta is one of the 50th richest people on the planet right now. And for some reason we were lucky enough to do a little demo out the front of the building.
And he said he cared and wanted to see the kids of Afghanistan grow up and not be involved with drugs, have some kind of sports to help out with their lives and have something to do for the kids.
I was a little bit scared in Afghanistan, yeah, that's for sure. Because you see people with weapons everywhere, you hear about all these different ethnic groups that hate each other, and yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. You can definitely, as a local, make some money out of some foreigners, for sure. We are the perfect target. Some Russians, Americans, British, Germans.
We didn't really want to hang out for too long. There are a few sort of warnings about bombs and stuff going off. There was a bombing while we were there. Not so many spots, not so much opportunity for street skating, so we wanted to get out. I didn't really know what to expect at all, to be honest, before the trips. I didn't really have any expectations. Kind of strange that almost everywhere we go, even these sort of unheard of countries, you might think no one's going to be skateboarding there. Someone's always there and they completely hook it up for us, arrange somewhere to stay. They show us where to eat, they stop us from getting ripped off. So yeah, I think traveling these countries, if you didn't have guides, which we were lucky enough to have just because they're skateboarders, I think it'd be a complete nightmare. It would be hell. I don't think it'd be fun at all.
You know, every country to the next had a little bit of a similarity, but if you go from Afghanistan and you look back to China, they're completely different places. It was like a gradual change from country to country, even with the languages and customs. You know, you realize that you're probably not going to see this again for the rest of your life, and it feels like every moment you're actually really there and you're appreciating it. The stands are unlike any other place in the world, to be honest. It really feels like you're in a different